Do you learn anything from this movie? I'll go first then, since you
Okay.
did your last one. Yeah, I think I learned. Okay, as a script writer, I learned one to cut the fat, and two that you've got to give the characters a lot of motivation to do things, because if you don't, then it just seems like coincidences. And you got to give them motivation to make decisions, like talking about where he would go back to
Yeah.
that moment. It's like nobody would do that, or getting in the car. There's no reason why he would do that.
No.
So as a filmmaker, that, but as a person, I would say you gotta cut that baggage loose. Get rid of that baggage, because it's going to do nothing but distort your face
Yeah.
after you get run off of a bridge. So
Yeah.
cut the baggage, get rid of that junk. It's not worth it. It's
Not
not
needed.
worth wasting your time and wasting relationships on it.
Yeah.
What about you?
So, I guess as I thought the film might have benefited from linear storytelling instead of the non-linear that we get. I don't know, because we are not able to see it that way, but I would like to see a version where maybe it's just the voiceover and you can introduce the Kurt Russell character earlier on, maybe the second act or the end of the first act. I'm not sure how it would go. Um, I I guess I looked at it more of a, you need to be appreciative of what you have. David had all this stuff. Sophia asks him one of the first questions, how did you get all this stuff? And then he looks up and it sees the big picture of his dad's face, and she turns around, kind of rolls her eyes, and she runs off. So he's inherited this fortune that he's never really appreciated it, because he's always had it since he's been a kid. It shows him when he's riding the skateboard through the boardroom as a kid. When he's an adult, she has to take that hat off his head because he's getting ready to go into the meeting. So, you need to be appreciative of what you have, live in the moment, every moment, but be very grateful, and don't lead people on. If he hadn't have led Julie Gianni on, none of this would have happened.
No.
None of this would have happened. You go on a few dates, or in his case, you have sex with them, don't continue, but this is his reckless nature. He's done this with more than just her. She just happened to be crazy,
Yeah.
One of the last points I had was, don't ever get into the car of an angry woman behind the wheel. Yeah.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Is that your award too?
The award would be.
Oh wait, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Do your award. I want to make sure we cover that.
Did you have an award for this one?
Yeah. Oh, I have an award for this one too.
Okay. I had the award called the Narcissistic Dream Award.
Shut up.
Is that what you wrote?
No, I didn't write
that. Okay, I was like, seriously? Because honestly, I really couldn't think of any kind of a great dream. Like you said, I didn't think that you would like this movie going in. I didn't think you would dislike it due to the acting, because I thought the acting was good. I didn't think there was anyone that was really, sometimes I've seen Cameron Diaz and she's not great, but I thought she did a good job. And I thought everyone else, did a good job as well. So I thought you might have a problem with the way the story was told, and probably the script. And my problem with it as well is a little bit of the script and how the story is told. But I give it the Narcissistic Award, or Narcissistic Dream Award, because half this movie is a dream / nightmare, and David's character and almost every surrounding character is pretty narcissistic.
Yeah.
I mean, Cameron Diaz, she could look at it, well, David is my friend. I did tell him that we're friends. I should be happy that he found someone else. She doesn't care. His friend brings Sophia. He pretty much steals Sophia from the first moment they meet.
Yeah.
The other guy is using David to get his book published. That's why he puts up with half of this stuff. The board members want the company from him, but he's left it. His dad left him only 51%, so the board would have to fight with them because they're all narcissists. So,
Which kind of makes the dad a narcissist too,
yeah.
because he
Yeah.
knew that this junk was going to happen.
And his dad only wrote one sentence about David in the book. David Jr. was a delight. That was his own sentence in that book.
Yep.
So, yeah,
That's
pretty
a good one.
narcissistic family. What about yourself?
I gave it the third act award because to me, the whole movie pretty much happens in the third act. And I felt like most of the rest of the movie didn't matter as
Right.
much. I think that the first act was important, even though the first act could have been 5 minutes long. And then I think the third act mattered. So just kind of take that 5 minutes, slap it on to the last 20
Right.
minutes of it. And there you go. You got yourself a really good short film, a really good Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a great Twilight Zone. And I actually thought that yesterday. I was like, this would have been a good Twilight Zone episode. We didn't need a lot of this background. We didn't need a lot, like Cameron Diaz's character and like the whole 4 times in one night stuff. Like all of that could have been taken care of. Everything leading up to the crash could have been taken care of in minutes.
Yeah.
But instead it takes 30 minutes to get to the crash.
Yeah. It's a long first act.
Yeah. And then we were a ways through the first act. We hadn't gotten to the midpoint yet. And I was like, all right, we're at the midpoint. And then the midpoint, because I thought the car crash would be the midpoint, but that's really the end of the first act.
No.
So I'm like, just one thing after another. But so I thought the third act, because there's so much information. Have you seen Us? Not Us, Get Out.
I've just seen it one time, yeah.
That one, so much happens in the third act, but I think he does a good job of setting up the rest of the film to then completely
you're
pay
right.
off in the third act.
That movie's a little bit slow until the third act, and then it kicks off quickly. Yeah.
But they use a lot of comedy. They use a lot of humor, and they use a lot of like the horror, like the thriller aspect of it to get you to the third act.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this film, like, it's just Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise for 2 hours just to get me to the third act just doesn't do it for me.
So what's your final thoughts on Vanilla Sky?
I think it was worth watching. One of these days I might sit and watch it again. Now that I kind of know what happens, and look for more of those things, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, just because I feel like it was just, I feel like I just wasted too much time to get to the meat of the story.
So would you recommend it for anyone that hasn't seen it, yes or no?
It really depends on the person. If it's a filmmaker friend that I have, definitely would suggest it to them because I think that you can learn a lot from it.
Right.
Somebody just pleasure watching, probably not.
It's not a movie for pleasure watchers at all.
No.
I agree with you.
It's kind of up the Mulholland Drive alley, except I think it's a little bit more ambiguous. Just